This is just a short little video to give some more insight into my NASA space envelope collection. This is interesting here. This is an STS-51L 1986 complete shuttle disaster crew onto launch covers. People might remember in 1986 the first Teacher in Space flight crashed before they even made it into orbit and blew up. And this is one of the covers, exceedingly rare. You look at this one here. This is signed by everybody except for one person. There's Christa McAuliffe as well. And then this is Ronald McMillan, I think it's Ronald well, anyway, McNair. Ronald McNair. But the interesting thing is that those are not in my collection because they were estimated between $2,500 and $3,500, and the bidding ended at $2,900. So that's a cover that you're never ever going to find unless you have a lot of money for that. So you could probably find an unsigned cover commemorating the event, or one from pretty close to that particular date of the 28th, which was on this one here, January 28th, 1986, Kennedy Space Council, for about $5 to $10. So that's one I will not be getting in my collection. One quick thing here, just to show you how difficult it is to get some of these things autographed. For example, here's my binder. I'm going to flip this up. Here's my binder, and here's some of them in here. I'm trying to find, now here's one from the International Space Hall of Fame. That's commemorating Dr. John Paul Stapp. Trying to find maybe a space doctor or something that would be cool to sign that. But the difficult thing for me is to find something that relates to the time and day. Here's a beautiful space cover, but there's absolutely no room to sign on it. Here's one called Comprehending the Universe. It's just kind of a generic cover, and that's from 1981. But if a pilot or somebody who was a test pilot flew in 1990, I'm not sure that I'd want to send a 1981 cover. It'd be close enough. Most people I've seen have covers signed. They would have this Explorer 20 signed. But it would have absolutely nothing to do with the person, and they'd have some ridiculous price on it. And why would you want that, if you want a shuttle astronaut on some sort of satellite cover from the 1960s? That would not make any sense, and it actually detract from the cover because the history would be kind of screwed up and mixed up. This is a cool one from the International Space Station. So if you find anybody who was on the International Space Station, or even on during November 18th, 2009, that'd be cool. This is kind of a homemade cover. Somebody just ran that little shuttle picture through their printer after they had a bunch of these printed off. And those are harder to find, the later ones. You can find tons of these, corporate or company-made ones from the 80s, 70s, 80s, but trying to find the late 80s, early 90s, and up into the 2000s, is super impossible to do. If you could find something commemorating the space flight in general, then that would be kind of cool. Here's an STS-52 envelope signed by Andrew Allen. Unfortunately, Andrew Allen was not on that flight. I accidentally sent him the wrong one because I didn't have the right data and I screwed up. And so, I throw that in here. I don't have it in my main binder because it's just an envelope to me right now. And if somebody wanted Andrew Allen's autograph, then they're perfectly welcome to that one. I'd be willing to trade or something. Here's a Voyager 1. Now, many of these I send off to people who are at the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena or Dryden Space Flight Center. 9 times out of 10, I have not gotten those back. Some of these companies have a new policy not to sign things for some reason, and you do not get your items back. So I would be careful where you send to. Sending to NASA directly at the Johnson Space Center is probably your best bet for getting 8x10s. And some of those guys will send you an 8x10 that's signed, personalized to you, but he might not send your cover back, or he might send your cover back unsigned. So these are just a few things showing how difficult it is, and maybe sometimes how easy it is to get an astronaut or somebody space-related to sign these. Really quickly here, Now see, here's another page you can find some information. This is a biography page from NASA, and these are all related to Dryden. And here's a NASA Dryden Center Director, Isaac Gilliam, the fifth. I think that's Ivy is the fifth, fourth or fifth. And so there's that, and then you can find ones on, I had the other one here if I can find it. And then here's another former pilots, and here's where I got the Stephen Ishmael picture. Oops, well, it's not loading up here. Some of these guys are deceased, but I found a lot of these guys that are still alive here. I think Thomas McMurtry recently passed away. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm running too long here. I was just kind of bored, and here we go. See, there's Stephen Ishmael, and I had found a cover that didn't have any picture on it, printed that out, and Stephen Ishmael signed one for me. So that's some of the stuff that I'm doing in the meantime, and thank you for watching.